Okay, the reason I'm filming it this way is that it'll be a little bit harder for people that want to just grab screen captures. We are pretty close to complete on the first round of proofreading, editing, etc. on Midwest Fantasy Wargame, the Primeval RPG. The intent here is to go back to 1972 based on a reconstruction of Arneson's rules that were scattered between OD&D, Blackmore, as captured in the first fantasy campaign by Judges Guild, some of the other things that I've seen on the internet, yada yada. The intent is basically to try and replicate the style of play that would have been in place had the RPG been edited based on the ideas that were being used at the table at that time. So kind of a reconstruction. I think it's going to be pretty interesting to people that are into this old school play and wargaming interface. Okay, let's get started here. Legal notices, who cares? A bunch of table of contents. Plenty of tables here, 84 tables. I think that's going to be it. I still need to do an index. I might renumber these tables. I've got a few things that I don't like, and maybe I'll tie them to the booklets. What I've chosen to do is turn this into several booklets. Intro, requirements, yada yada. Booklet 1, Men and Magic. It talks about the attributes, skills. There was actually a skill-based system, as you'll see on this character sheet. 2 classes. There's a warrior class and a magic user class. Cleric is a subclass of warrior. Same thing with ranger. Ranger is a 5th level warrior. Basically, you transition into ranger. Rangers were in chainmail. You would have to go back and look at that. But I made the ranger basically a skill-based track instead of a level-based track. So once you hit 5th level, you can start pouring your points into the skills. I think it'll give a little bit different gameplay, and the skills that Arneson had were woodcraft, horsemanship, flying, sailing, and throwing, which kind of lines up with that whole outdoorsman-y kind of ranger feel. So I think it's a good fit to do it that way. Clerics are, of course, in 2 classes. The ecclesiastical titles are for mostly the non-real persons, the NPCs. And then the militant title, that's what players would be doing. That's more like your paladin, right? So you got initiate, esquire, knight errant, knight commander, housemaster, provincial commander, marshal, seneschal. Don't quote me on that. Grandmaster and patriarch. So it's patriarch for 10th level. Levels are capped at 10 for this game. Hits to kill instead of hit points. Experience point progression is a little different. Warriors and their subclasses get a saving throw versus melee weapon. So that's a little bit different. Well, warriors get a saving throw versus melee weapon. Clerics get a saving throw versus magic, just like you saw in Beyond This Point Be Dragons and in the 73 draft. Clerics were kind of set up to be in opposition to magic users. Okay, scrolling forward here. The spellcasting system that Arneson had in First Fantasy Campaign, completely different. It's based on learning spells. There's a chance of failure if you don't practice them or successfully cast them. The implication was that the complexity levels from chainmail were kept, and that there was no level progression in spell level progression. In other words, just like in chainmail, if you're a seer, you have the ability to cast a 4th or 5th level or 4th or 5th complexity level spell. It's just here you have to have the magic points. Okay, moving on. The spells themselves, they go up to 6th level of complexity, and there are 10 spells in each of those. Some of these spells are based on magic items and magic item capabilities. So there's a little bit different stuff here than what you normally see. Like this enhancement spell that was part of the V Magic Sword Artifact Sword characteristics. Okay, moving on. Artwork, by the way, this is one of the drawings that is not, I think it's Diego Castro. I keep wanting to say Diego Garcia, but Diego Castro has some artwork on Drive-Thru RPG that was very affordable. And so you're going to see lots of great artwork with that guy. The cover artwork is by a guy named Justin Field. Look him up on the internet. He did a Keep on the Borderlands, basically playthrough and illustration. So he's got a comic strip based on Keep on the Borderlands on characters he was running through. So he was doing solo RPG play, plus coming up with great artwork. I'm very happy with how that turned out. Very affordable, easy to work with guy. I've used him before. Okay, character sheet. So with Arneson, 6 key attributes, actually 7 key attributes. No, 6 key attributes, sorry. There's a miscellaneous attribute that's kind of a catch-all. Some of these cap, I've made them caps on the secondary attributes or skills that you might have. Spell complexity, here I did a magic user so you could kind of see spell complexity, cost to prepare, chance of failure, times you've successfully cast it, that kind of stuff, and what happens if you are incapacitated.